Hi guys, I am Enrico and welcome to my first walkthrough of Dreams. Today I'm going to show you something very simple, but in my opinion it's captivating in his final version. I don't draw in Dreams because for me Procreate is better for Illustrate. Generally I make my works directly on Procreate and then I transfer to Dreams. For the moment many tools missing in Dreams. I hope will be implemented soon. So let's go. For first, I'm going to set up the artboard on Procreate. I will need a very high resolution artboard. I don't want to see the pixel or the grain in the image when I go to export the video in 4K on Dreams. In my case, they are even too big. In fact, as you can see, of the same work I have several different boards, precisely because I reached the maximum limit of the levels. And so I have to create a new board of the same size for continuing the work. Let me show you. I have to be honest, in many cases they really made me out of my mind. To free you from my cosmic delirium of layers, I will set up the canvas to the screen size. In our case, so we won't have layer problems if we need more levels. We'll go with a relatively low resolution. The size of the screen in this case are 2732 per 2048 pixel. The machine that I'm using is an iPad Pro with M2 processor, not the latest generation but the previous, 2022. For first, we will immediately go to set the perspective of our vanishing point. As you will see, we should be very precise in putting the right point, because this will allow us to have that sense of depth when we'll go to animate on Dreams. Let's set the drawing guide, modification guide, and we'll choose perspective. And we go indicatively to hit the target of our board on. What I want to keep is the first floor of the street, which we are going to draw later. The horizon line is moved downwards because it will help us to have a greater sense of perspective when we go to animate on Dreams. Now I'll go and mark my vanishing point on the canvas. We will need it for the anchor point on Dreams of the various levels. I do this job to mark the vanishing point. I choose my vector brush with a relatively low size to be more precise. I go to put my dear drawing assistance and I'm going to draw two lines. Maybe the size of the brush with too big. I'm going to decrease a little more. I'm going to trace now. Remove the drawing assistant, perfect. I'm going to trace our fantastic line. Okay. Here we are. And here, at this point where the line intersects, I'll have my wonderful vanishing point. I'll be anchored for life for this job. Then I'm going to choose another color because otherwise I wouldn't see. And I'm going to set our vanishing point. Here. Now I delete the guidelines, so I will no longer need it. As I told you, the vanishing point be fundamental, because it will then also have to be transferred to Dreams, to go and indicate where my anchor point will be. Now, before making our drawing, I will give a brief demonstration of what was the perspective. Within our project, I will go to create a fictitious terrain with the rectangle tool. It will be very simple. The ground will be slightly lower than the vanishing point. I choose the gray color and go to create my rectangle. Okay, now to help you understand better, I go to draw with our vector brush and guide assistance a line. Like this. Okay. Now I'm going to draw a road scene always using the rectangle tool, like this, okay? Little smaller. And the above part composed of a rectangle and a triangle. Choose another color, okay? Let's add a writing. Vamos! Perfect. To show you how the perspective on dreams will work, I will enlarge the scene, keeping it anchored to the line I drew before. The road scene will have to be on two separate levels, which we will then group together. Now I'm going to duplicate the group, okay? To show you the perspective, the second road scene, I'm going to enlarge it and move it, keeping the base anchored to the line drawn previously. This is to give you an idea of the movement that I want to apply on dreams via the anchor point. Sure, this is a bidimensional drawing, it doesn't yet give you the idea of depth that we can then give the dreams with movement. We have finished the preliminary operation on the vanishing point and on all the perspective speech. Now we go to finish a little what will be the drawing. We will not do anything particularly complicated, just to speed up the process. So for first I will go to insert the sky in our background with a light blue color. I use the rectangle tool and then I go to blend it slightly on the horizon. Okay, great. Instead, our terrain, we already have it. I will go to beautify a little. First, I'm going to darken it a little to make it look like asphalt. I create another level for the asphalt and I go to use one of my favorite brush, paint and Nico brush. Okay. Now with drawing assistant on and with a black color, choose a size a little big, opacity 100%. I go to draw lines in the direction of the vanishing point, in this way, okay. Has to have the perception of the asphalt. It's not necessary to be too precise, also because then we will go to blend the wall. The important thing is to cover the wall surface. I keep drawing lines and speed up. Okay, now with the gradient tool I'll take the Nico brush and I'm going to blur. Now I remove the assistance and go to blur again. Now I make the clipping mask and go to join two levels. But I think I still want to darken the asphalt, like this, okay? And join. Mask and join. Okay. Now I will go to draw the white stripes of demarcation of the road. We will use the assistance design always fixed on the vanishing point. For help me to draw, I will take help from the line of the drawing guide. Perfect, now we have the road markings. With another layer, I'm going to draw the stripe in the center. Okay, here we have our road. I must always keep the layers separate, precisely, because then when I go to dreams, they will move differently. Now, in these two stripes, I will go to insert texture, to make them a little more realistic. I take my hack brush, let's set the group of our road scene and we go to move and resize it according to our way. I add a light point on the scene and shadow on the pole. I will change the color of the sign because it blends in with the sky. A shade towards purple, like this. Now I'm going to add a little herb around the road to always give a touch of realism. Also in this case I'm going to do more levels because they will move differently on dreams. The furthest away is lower until the closest, one will go faster. Now we are going to also make some mountains in the background to make even more the idea of death. My beautiful mountains! We have all the elements we need. We can jump directly into dreams. Let's make a new empty project, 4K dimension. We import the project from PROCREATE, all the project. We go to resize it so that everything is inside the screen. And now let's go to convert our drawing in tracks. We take the vanishing point and we are going to move it in the first track, because it always have to be visible to our eyes. And we go to move it slightly down, so that it's anchored to the horizon line. We choose the timing on our timeline for the animation of the ground level. I move the anchor point of this layer and all the others to the vanishing point. I can go to enlarge and shrink my ground without going to change the horizon line. I will go to apply this anchor system on all levels and with the same timeline. To give illusion of depth, the levels that are in the foreground will have to arrive faster than those behind. We get this effect by enlarging the level more and more as we get closer to the foreground. Now I set all the anchor point. Let's start to move elements. For first, zoom asphalt. Like this. And then we move on to the others. Remember that the elements closest to us will have to be enlarged more to give the effect of depth. the yellow stripes. Okay, and I'm going to distort the white stripes a little downwards, so as not to go off the road. Zooming the grass, okay, all the grass. As you see, the grass elements, the lower they are from the vanishing point, the more they follow the line of perspective. Like the previous line I had drawn on PROCREATE, where I had anchored the road sign. Now that I'm done moving the grass, I'm going to move the road sign. As you can see, I have to move it to a lower track, because it has to stay beyond that bush. I'm going to look for that level. Found. New track, and I'm going to move the sign group here. Okay. Good. Let's try to understand where it will end at the end of our timeline. A little farther behind that grass, okay. I have arranged all the elements. Now let's test it. And play. As you can see, it's already very good. Clearly, we need to go to work, as I can see from the animation, especially on the external sides, with the grass that arrives in some situations too early, and in others it arrives too late. The elements that are closest to us much disappear immediately, while those that are behind always remain a little more in the shadow and approach more slowly. So I will first of all work on grass, in depth. For example, this element here I enlarge too much and it arrives too fast. I'm going to zoom out, okay? I'm going to correct the other elements. Okay, play. Now it works much better, but there is something to fix. That road sign comes too soon. Let's zoom out a little. Let's try again, play. A little bit. Perfect, now much better. The yellow stripe that is in the foreground will have to arrive faster. We are going to enlarge it and squash it a little, so as not to make it lose perspective. Okay, good. Try again. Another run. As you can see, the yellow stripe is approaching faster and gives us the idea that we want. The other element that I want to bring a little closer are the mountains, but the movement will be almost imperceptible, because they are so far away. It will give a further sense of depth to everything. Choose the timeline even for the mountains and set the anchor point. Move the mountains very little, and another things we will do increase the opacity a little while it gets closer. Okay. It will help us have a greater sense of depth. I'm also going to decrease the opacity of the sky . Let's go and reproduce. Also in this case, as you can see, the result is not bad. Now retouching on some elements, such as the white stripes, which as you can see at the bottom, go on the grass, but I want to bring them back in a little. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to distort them directly using the distort tool. So we have distorted a little the stripes to make them return to a more normal size. The last thing I want to do, distort the shape of the signs as it gets closer to increase the sense of perspective. That's why I keep the layers separate. Let's play. I want to distort it still, it's not enough. Let's add the Move tool. I have to make sure that the letter O doesn't move in the distortion. Okay, let's try another one. A little more. Okay, that's great. I would say that it gives us the feeling of the depth already at this level of details, in the sense that design is obliviously very Spartan. What was our intent was rich. The method I showed you today is the basis of this other project of mine that I'm carrying forward. If there is something that's not clear, write in the comments. And subscribe! Thank you so much and see you next time!